Who's pumped about sales? Sort of pumped about. Okay, so quick question so I can cater this to you guys. As I try and tell my team sometimes, I'm going to talk fast so you can just listen fast. So, who here has one person or less? That would mean if you are selling, doing the majority of the sales in your company. Can I get a hand raised? Okay, so like half. Okay, that's perfect. And the other half of you have a sales team, multiple, 2 or more, right? Okay, so the name of my lovely talk is going to be the closer framework, all right? And so what I'm going to do is break this up into 2 halves. The first half is how you actually manage the conversation. That should say work. You get the idea. Closer framework. And then the second half is how you manage the sales team so you can get wicked consistent sales on a monthly basis. So first things first, who here has ever struggled with inconsistent lead quality, inconsistent CAC, right? You're like, I thought I was at 1,000 and now I'm at 3,000. My leads are shit. Actually, my leads are amazing. My sales team is underworked. Now they're overworked. They said there's too many, there's too few, they're not being efficient, et cetera. Has anyone dealt with any of that stuff? Okay, cool. So I've run a lot of sales teams, B2B. We did outsource sales company. We would fly to gyms, actually sell for them. So we'd fill them up in 30 days with us actually flying people out and selling. So we've done a lot of sales, and this is the simplest framework that you can use. And so this is the first of the 5 C's. So I try to use Marcus as 5 C's, so when you go home, you've got 10 C's, okay? So the first one, it governs the conversation. So that's kind of for everyone who was raised, there's kind of more of you over here. We're raising your hands about, I've got one person or it's me. This is the governing framework for how you make the conversation. C is you clarify why the person is there. All right? Now, when you use this framework, everything that's in your framework has to be a question only. Do not put paragraphs, do not put statements, because they will start reading them, they can't think that way. Only put questions, because they can pause, they can ask another question. They can pause, they can ask another question, and they need no intelligence to do that, which means it's scalable, okay? So, when you're asking, so all of these buckets are the buckets under which you want to create the framework that you're making your sale. So it's like, what made you get on the call? What's your goal? Why is that important to you? What would it look like 12 months from now if this ideal outcome were to be achieved, right? Those are the clarification questions. Next, you label them with a problem. So what I'm hearing is, you've done X, Y, and Z, and the missing link has been X, whatever. Is that right? Yes, got it. I now have a problem, you now have cancer, I can cure it. All right? Next is O. We're going to overview the pain. Okay, so I'm assuming not the first person you've come to try and solve this problem, so what have you done in the past? All right, I've done X, Y, and Z. Why did that not work for you? Obviously it didn't work because they're on the phone with you. All right, so you always have that advantage because they are on the phone with you right now. So you're overviewing past pain. We call it the pain cycle. You do that until they have nothing left, and you're like, awesome, and then you recap the pain. Then, S, you sell the vacation. This is the only thing that your salespeople have to actually know. There's going to be 3 stories that you're going to tell them that are going to be illustrative of the thing that you were helping them solve. So an example would be fitness, nutrition, and accountability. If I was trying to sell weight loss, right? You're usually missing 1 or 2 or all 3 of these things, and that's why you weren't successful, right? You couldn't consistently work out, you couldn't consistently eat the right way, or no one was there to hold you accountable. Does that make sense? Yes? If you're selling leads, it would be like, you need your leads to be exclusive, you need them to be timely, you need them to be geographic, whatever. Like you're going to find 3 things, and then you have to give a short 30-second snippet of why that's important, right? If I was trying to illustrate accountability, I'd be like, hey, did your parents ever tell you to brush your teeth when you grew up? You probably hated it. You're like, no, I don't want to. And they kept doing it over time, and I'll bet you brush your teeth now, right? You need someone to hold you accountable so you can create the habit. Does that make sense? 30-second story, they understand it. That's how you sell a vacation, all right? E, explain away their concerns. Away, concerns, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. All right, that's where you're doing all of your obstacle overcomes. All right, crazy people buy without obstacles. Normal people have concerns. You need to overcome them. These have to be drilled. All right, they have to be drilled. So that means that you have flashcards. Like, I need to think about it. I have to talk to my husband. I have to check with my partner. I have to. So there's only 3, by the way, if you don't know what they are. It's price, it's stall, it's decision maker. All right, so all you have to do is understand what each of those 3 are. If it's price, it's a discrepancy in value. They don't understand the value. If it's decision maker, what you have to do is rely on past agreements that are implied that that person has already communicated to the partner. So your partner knows that you're struggling with these things already, right? They know that you're looking for a solution, right? So why do you think they'd be opposed with you solving the problem that you already know you have that they don't agree with, right? Overcoming, okay? Those have to be drilled. Next one is, so we did decision maker, we did price, and stall, right? all you're doing is teaching someone to make a decision because people don't like making them because they fear making a mistake, right? Perfect, halfway through. Wow. Okay, so what you're gonna do is walk them through a decision-making process. So, how do we make decisions? Either, do you like me? Yes or no? Do you like the product? Yes or no? Do you think that we'll be able to help you achieve this outcome? Yes or no? Do you have access to this amount of money in your bank account or know someone who does? Yes or no? Yes? What card do you want to use, right? Overcome, you make them confront the decision, all right? What's your main concern? Then they tell you the main concern, you overcome it, close, all right? Last one is reinforce the decision. And I like doing this, and we included it after time, is that people back out, right? So how can we slam it on them? How can we get them super pumped? So immediately afterwards, that's the 30-second video from the founder being like, hey, just saw you sign up for our software, super excited to have you, by name, personalized, handwritten card, t-shirt, any of those things, reinforce the decision, make their feet nice and hot. Make sense? That's the closer framework. Every single one of these buckets has to be questions that are simple for them to ask. All right? So when you're organizing your script, this is the conversation we're going through. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, that is the first of the 5 C's. Don't worry, the other ones are fast, and it's about how you manage your sales team, okay? Don't worry, I'll be fast. So that's closer. The next one is, don't worry, I'm rocking, we're good. Okay, the next one, I should know these. That's okay. Okay, call recordings, and then I'm just gonna write these down real quick for you so you can write them down. Comms, cut, competition, okay? So Marcos is much smarter than me. I think he's like the really classy person. This is like from the streets, closing 4,000 people, one-on-one sales, like weight loss Susie's writing with, her kids trying to write permanent marker on the wall and I'm trying to close her credit card, all right? So closer sequence is how you manage the framework. Call recordings. If you're not recording every single fucking call that your people are on, 1, you're not compliant. 2, you should do it because then they become more accountable to following the script. All right? You also overview those. The tool that you need to use is Gong. If you guys sell via Zoom, it's the fucking best. That's all I can say. Use Gong. It's amazing. All right? Comms. You need to talk to your team on a regular basis. All right? The cadence there is daily huddles, weekly one-on-ones, and when you do and then obviously monthly, but the daily huddles are quick. All you do is you share testimonials so they remember why they're selling. So they get beat up every single day with no's, they need to remember why they're still doing it. All right? From the one-on-ones that you're doing, when you're meeting with them, you're gonna have them tag you in 3 calls. Their best call, their worst call, and their average call. When you go over in the one-on-ones, you're going to ask them to show you where they clarified the problem, where they outlined the pain, and then where they asked for the sale and where they overcame objections. If they never clarify the pain and they never ask for the sale, you don't make money. So that way they always know that on every fucking call, you always ask for the sale. You can never make a sale if you never ask for it, all right? That's what you from the communication cadence. Cut. You gotta cut the bottom, all right? It's the number one thing that will drive sales teams is by cutting the bottom 10%, you do it on a regular basis. It has to be on a regular basis. All right, even if the team is going okay, when you cut the bottom, you'll see a 30% jump in productivity every time. So if you can have a persistent 30% jump, why would you not do that? Does that make sense? Okay, competition. Last point. Woo, I'm good. I got 1:20. Woo. Okay, so competition. Salespeople are competitive. You have to have a leaderboard that is published, that they can see every single day, that they get notified when every other guy is making a sale. If it's super high volume, it could be end of day. But when you've got a bell if you're in person. If you're not in person, you can have a thread that should be all the sales guys dinging. They can literally send an image or a GIF of a bell. So it's like ring the bell, right? So that they know, and it's just volume. They can see it. There's activity. There's action, right? It's all of momentum. So leaderboard, that has to be checked every day. Has to be updated regularly. Like that has to be on point. And then competitions, we found that 6 weeks works best. In terms of sending them on like closers go to Vegas or go to the Bahamas or whatever it is. And so we put them in 3-man teams, and that tends to work really well because then they share best practices, they continue to work with each other, they root for each other, so it's not as cutthroat. It's just always having top dog. And in terms of how much to spend on that, 25% of 1 month check is usually the amount per person that a prize like that would be. Right? So if you guys make 70, you might spend $1,500 to send per guy for like a 3-day or like a 2-day weekend. It's not expensive, $5,000, but it is worth every dollar. So to recap, if you want Really, really consistent sales. Use the closer framework. Everything has to be questions. Do not have statements. Have 30-second stories. Record your calls. Make sure you're sticking to the comp cadence. Cut the bottom percentage and keep it competitive so they stay in it. Thank you.
Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and thought, wow, I should be further ahead by now? If you're trying to make money online or start your first business and feel overwhelmed, you're not alone. Every day you see other people succeeding and you wonder, why am I not succeeding? Maybe you don't like your job or you're unfulfilled. You want to do something you love and make money, but you feel stuck, bored, confused, or maybe all three. I get it. I spent years in the exact same spot, afraid to fail, but ashamed of being afraid. And it wasn't until I paid another business owner to teach me how to run a local business that I felt comfortable starting my own. He showed me the ropes and gave me the confidence to start. And after scaling my local gym chain from learning this stuff from him, I started a company called Gym Launch, which I sold years later for $46.2 million. Now, what I want to do is repay the favor. I want to show you the ropes the exact way that business owner did for me. And as the person with the largest community on Skool, which I'll tell you about in a second, I can show you exactly what to do. You can start your own online community business today with all the things I didn't know when I started my first business for free with the Skool games. So imagine building a business being as easy as playing a video game with step-by-step instructions, live workshops, real-time leaderboards, and new friends to make it fun. If all that were true, would you at least be interested? Okay. Now, you might be wondering, well, what exactly is Skool? How do the Skool games work? How much does it cost? Do I need to be an expert? Do I need an audience? What are the prizes? Great questions. Let me break it down for you. Skool games is a fun, easy way to build your online business. No experience or followers needed. Just simply choose a painful experience you overcame, something you find interested or you're passionate about, or some skill you learned throughout your career, no matter how small. It could be as simple as a better way to organize folders, or meal prepping for kids who have food allergies, or travel hacks. And then all you have to do is just invite people to community about overcoming that pain, following that passion, or learning that skill. And we'll show you exactly how to build it and monetize it on your first try. Now, if that sounds insanely simple, that's because it is. So check it out. More than 1 out of 2 people who start a paid community in Skool make money. That means by your next reunion, instead of answering, what are you up to these days? You could be answering, how'd you do that? And could you help me? And the thing is you probably could, because it's not that hard. Right now, people are paying hundreds, sometimes thousands to get into digital communities the same way they do nightclubs or cafes. Just think about it as a place where lots of people who want to talk about the same stuff can gather together, and people pay to get in. And the crazy thing is people are selling courses and coaching programs for thousands and tens of thousands on how to build a business like this because it's so profitable. But what if there were a faster, easier, zero-risk way to learn how to do this for yourself? What if you could learn how to start, scale, and monetize an online group the right way on your first try for free? Would you at least consider it? All right. So for those of you who want more out of life, an online community takes the least amount of time to get started. You can literally make money in hours. It requires the least skill. If you can invite people to a party, you can make this business work. And you don't need to be an expert. You just invite those people and let them do the heavy lifting for you. It's kind of like Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not the expert at anything. They just bring the people together and then they are the online de facto experts. It's even faster than building a course or starting a coaching program because you don't need to have all the answers for that exact reason. Interested yet? Good. Because Skool Games was designed to smash through every obstacle that once stood in the way of starting an online business. It's why we have such an insanely high success rate. We've obsessed for years about removing everything that stops people from succeeding. And that's why with the Skool Games, you can succeed without an audience or expertise. Because let's face it, most people don't. And so we had to figure out a way to help people win. And of the 5 out of 7 communities I talked about earlier who won the Skool Games in their first month, only 2 of them had organic followings before they started. You don't need any fancy software, calendars, payment processing. Everything you need is already built into Skool. And you don't even have to know what your community is going to be about yet. I'll show you how to pick it. It's simple, and you can do it in less than 20 minutes. And if you're wondering, well, how do I get people invited to my community? Don't worry, you don't have to ask people you know. We've made it simple to crowdsource your community, just like Evelyn did through Skool itself on the millions of users we already have on the platform. As for tech skills, you don't need any. If you have the technology to watch this video right now, you already have all the tech you need to start, scale, and succeed. So what happens if you sign up right now? Well, you'll follow our process, you'll build a paid community about whatever it is you love, and if you become one of the top 10 communities on the leaderboard, you'll join me and other successful community owners here in Vegas. And even if you don't win the first month, you get to keep competing every month until you win. And then you can join all the alumni and all the past winners to get to the next level. Worst case scenario, you join, you do nothing, you decide to quit and walk away with thousands of dollars worth of knowledge that you can take with you on whatever business venture you want next. Best case scenario, you take a zero risk move and change your life forever. Or maybe you're just like Kyle, who's never won the games, never got in the top 10, and just built a community that makes him $4,664 a month in recurring revenue. He didn't win any awards, but would 3, 4, 5 grand a month change things for you? If so, then you're in the right place. Remember, the only guarantee is that if you don't take the shot, you'll stay exactly where you are. But if you do, you could be the next one coming out to Vegas celebrating how quickly you built an online business with consistent monthly recurring revenue. You in? Click the button below to join the Skool Games now. If you join this month, I'll personally onboard you live. Sign up and I'll see you on our onboarding call on Monday. You can ask me whatever you want. Now, if you're worried about starting a free trial, we offer an unconditional money back guarantee. So if you finish your trial and you forget to cancel, just let us know and we'll refund you. All right, we just want people to win. And I'm going to say this one more time because it's important. 1 out of 2 people who start a paid community in Skool make money, with the average paid community owner earning $1,360 per month. You really can do this. Click the button and let's get started.